In this lesson, we're going to be talking about pivoting using Metasploit. Pivoting is a technique where we get access to networks that may not otherwise be directly available to us by using an exploited system as the gateway to those networks, assuming that that exploited system actually has a network interface on those particular networks, of course. So I'm actually going to exploit a Windows XP system here. And the first thing I want to do is look for the particular exploit that I'm going to be using so that I can find the path to it and I can actually use it here. Exploit Windows SMB MS08. And this is a pretty reliable exploit, assuming that you've got a reasonably unpatched system. And I actually happen to have a Windows XP system that I keep pretty well unpatched for purposes of playing around and for doing demonstrations such as this. So I'm going to set my remote host variable to be the IP address of that Windows XP system. And then I'm just going to run exploit. Now it's going to connect to the SMB ports, which are the server message block ports, which are used for file sharing, printer sharing, that sort of thing. So we're actually sending the exploit over now, and we've got the meterpreter session open. I can do an ifconfig here, and we can take a look at the interfaces that are available on the system. You can see 172.30.42.17 on interface 2, and that's the interface that we came in on, and that's the interface that we ran the exploit on. Now there's another interface here. You can see interface 3, 10.10.10.15, and that's actually the one that we are going to set a route for. And I'm going to do that using autoroute. So I'm going to use autoroute. I'm going to set 10.10.10.0/24. Now, autoroute is actually going to go about doing all of the network configuration necessary for us so that we've got a route entry that we can get to that network, that 10.10.0 network. Now that it's done, I'm going to print out the routing table just so we can see it. Although you can see here, it says added route to 10.10.10.0, basically /24, although this is the full subnet mask. And it says via 172.30.42.17. So we're running autoroute again, and we're passing it the -p, which is going to print the routing table for us, and there you can see is the subnet that we actually set up there. So I'm going to send the meterpreter session to the background, and now I can actually run nmap 10.10.10.0/24. So nmap is going to kick off, and I'm going to see whether there are any other systems on that particular network there that we can actually get access to. And the meterpreter session is actually going to work as a router for us, or a gateway for that particular network. And the traffic is going to be passed through our session to that system and then handed off to the network that's behind that exploited system here. So nmap is actually going to take a little bit of time to get going, and I really just wanted to show you how you would set up the route entries once you've exploited a system. nmap is actually going to go connect to this network, and it's going to go scan the network and see what we've got available. But that's how you would use Metasploit as a way to pivot onto other networks so that you could get access to hidden networks or OAM and P networks, administrative networks, management networks, those sorts of things.